2004 bond, and they've partnered now with Hacker, which is another architect firm that is helping make sure that, that this new building is all we want it to be. The original budget, we wanted to point out, was about $41 million. That's essentially what the replacement levy that we brought to voters generated when you add the $8 million that was also contributed by the state of Oregon. And to be fully transparent, it was like $8.1 million. They provided an extra $100,000 for bond costs and issuance. However, it just so happened that timing was on our side. We got a AA plus Moody's rating, which we were told is equivalent to the state of Illinois, better than the state of California, and equal to Oregon State University's bond rating. And that helped us in the marketplace, and we became a favorable equity when it came on the market. And it kind of drove our price up, if you will. And so we were able to generate a total of $46.7 million above the 41 that was approved by voters with no additional cost to the taxpayer. So we were thrilled about that. We've held our first in-person community groups. I was speaking with one of our board members, Mary Ann Mann, about this before the meeting. We're very excited. We were pleased with the turnout. We filled one of our rooms. It was actually the room you were just meeting in. And we got lots of great industry feedback. We had business owners representing virtually every industry in the county and some of our very largest employers. It was good to hear from them as we deliberate about just what programs will make a home in this new building. And we do that with a lens to the long run, which is, we may be talking about those first 4 to 10 years. And we don't presume to know what is going to be the programming in that building, what the community is going to need, and our industry is going to need 10 years hence. But that's why we're designing this building with flexibility as its very core. We're excited about working with the fishing fleet. I want to thank Tonette at Newport Fishermen's Wives for helping us make some connections there. And that meeting may be in person, it may be hybrid, it may actually be some survey work we do. It's a busy group to get at the table on any given day, but we're excited to have their participation. In case you're wondering, watch your invitations. We hope to be sending you, or your mailboxes, we hope to be sending you an invitation for a groundbreaking in September of 2025 to at least begin the site prep. Winter is a wonderful time to move dirt in these parts, so you may see that timber harvesting will begin before that takes place. I would point out a piece of real estate where the building might be situated, but I don't want to mislead you, so it's early days. But we're excited about the sites that we're looking at. And then there will be some renovation and modernization projects taking place, starting with some critical safety and security measures that were called out in our ballot title when we brought it to the voters back in May, and some other work that is going to help take our existing buildings, which we love dearly, and prepare them for the next 20 years or so of education in the way that education has changed in the last couple decades. And with that, I can turn it over to Dr. Tolan.
Okay, so I'm really excited to be able to talk about the progress of the Lincoln County School District bond. We just had a meeting work session prior to look at what our next steps are after filing. So if you remember, in February of 2024, right? Yeah. We passed a resolution to begin information gathering. So you can see the things that we took part in for just over a year. We did demographic studies to look at our population, which I believe we shared with the college at one point. I sent it in. It is a little bit concerning because it does show that the Lincoln County School District student population is projected to decrease about 1,000 students in 10 years. But decreasing population doesn't mean that you don't need school buildings. And so we still need to be able to move forward with what building planning will look like. We completed a long-term facility study with a third party that went along with our facilities department 1- and 5-year plans. We confirmed the CMGC policy language that we have in place. We want to keep as much of the money local as possible, like we did in our last bond. So we made sure that we were set up correctly for that. We completed focus groups, polling, and community, staff, and student surveys. And the polling was a really big piece. We wanted to see what our voters were thinking what their perception was of the schools, their perceptions of a bond prior to getting information about it, and then what it could look like after. So then after that was all completed, we were presenting, that's okay, we were presenting that information to the board along the way, and now we are here. So we had a vote by the board on February 11th to officially place a facility bond on our May ballot. So we've began the filing process for that. It needs to be completed by Friday of this week. Our bond is going to include items under safety and security. That was really important in all of our surveys as well as in our polling. We have a lot of just maintenance and repairs. As you know, we're operating a number of facilities in Lincoln County. They don't all wear the same, but they all wear pretty extensively. And so we need to make sure that we're being good stewards of the property that we already have and need to be taken care of. And then educational quality is our third main component. So like the college, I believe that we are a strong CTE partner with Oregon Coast Community College. And we want to look at enhancing the spaces that we already have in place. Currently in Lincoln County, if you go to a music concert or a performance of any of our students, at one area you will see them performing on a stage, possibly 2 different stages up in Lincoln City. And in other areas, you will see them performing in gymnasiums. And so we want to add equal opportunity and appropriate performance spaces to our students in the arts. So we're looking at adding 3 different performance spaces while upgrading those that we already have at TAF 712. So each area would then get performance space, Waldport, Newport, Toledo, and then enhance the ones we have in Lincoln City. Outdoor play was really important when we did our polling and when we talked to our staff and students. Not all of our elementary schools have the ability to have regular outdoor recess. One, they don't have play structures that they can go and play in, so we would make sure that all of our schools had an outdoor play structure to be able to have students out at recess. And then also only 2 of our elementaries currently have play spaces that are turfed. So they can almost always get outside. There's usually a break in the weather that we can get students outside. In our other elementary schools, they go out to old grass fields and they cannot get outside even if it stops raining. It's just too muddy and too up and down, to have them out there when it's not great conditions. So we would be turfing our play fields out there as well. And then we want to make sure, such as you see with the board here, we want our students and our staff getting to work with the most updated technology available to them at the time. So part of that is moving to touch screens or screen projectors as opposed to static projectors in classrooms. So we're looking at all of the options, and we have a team that is piloting different pieces of technology that we can use for our staff and students in the classroom. You can't really see the bottom on there, but one thing that I did want to point out, and Dave, it might be on the next slide possibly, or it was in the last one, maybe I'm done talking. I'm done talking after this one, but if you go back one of the main things that came out is students and adults and humans want to go to the bathroom in private. They don't want people to hear them. They don't want people looking over stalls. They don't want to look under stalls or looking through cracks. They want to have a safe and secure private place to go to the restroom. And so the bottom bathroom facility that you can see there is actually at the entryway of Toledo Junior Senior High. It went from a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom across from the main office to now it has 10 private stalls and universal sinks there in the middle. The kids were so excited about it today. It opened today, it passed inspection, and so people were starting to be able to use this today. And one of the students told the principal, Chloe Minch, that they now had luxury bathrooms at Toledo Junior Senior High. And so this was one of the top things. If Dave goes to that next slide, just real quickly. Bathrooms, cleanliness, privacy, maintenance, and accessibility. Our custodial staff, that's our 3rd bathroom that we've been able to remodel within the last year. They have seen a drastic reduction in any sort of vandalism or any misuse of bathroom spaces. It's eliminating inappropriate use in bathrooms, such as vaping. And so the kids are proud of them. They're proud of having nice and safe spaces, and they asked for them, which I think was really important, as did multiple groups that we polled. So we're really excited to kind of begin our road show. You guys got to do the road show last year. Dave's been a big help already, just showing me these are places that we went. This is feedback that we got so that our board and our staff can set this up for success as we begin to provide education around the needs of Lincoln County School District.
Fantastic. All right, and I have one last slide to share, and that's just because I knew that we were going to be here with Dr. Tolan and with all of you and with Paul Skidema in the building, and basically what we're surrounded by here is partners in a program that really shows what this community can do when we all come together, and it's the Youth Entrepreneurship Program. Paul was the MC and host. His team helped with all the tech and all the making these presentations happen. What the YEP is and what it was last year and what will be this year, we've just launched our new program, is a term-long business training and business class for high school students. We talk about idea creation. We talk about validating your business idea in the marketplace. We talk about marketing. We talk about a variety of different tools. And then we talk about honing your pitch, to take your pitch in front of a crowd. Think of Shark Tank. It's very much what that is, except that instead of just the panel you can see there in this slide of 4 people at a table hearing the student's pitch, there's also another 100 people in the audience watching. And these presentations that the students built were on a huge screen. This was at the Hatfield, at the Gladys Valley building. It was a spectacular evening, and thanks to our generous donors this year, they include Georgia Pacific, Northwest Oregon Works, of course, EDALC, the school district, and the cultural center. We're going to deliver it in North County.
I have
and we'll move it around
a few
each year.
grapes in the refrigerator. Could you see if they're any good?
Walport, who's holding a check for $3,000 to start his new taxidermy business, and that business was the top prize winner last year. We had another $2,000 prize winner, and they left with these funds, and also, more importantly, they left with consistent and sustained advising for as long as they wanted with the Small Business Development Center to help them spool up that business, whether that's now or a couple of years from now. And so we were really excited about it, and it's the kind of thing that the SBDC could never pull off on its own, but with the partners in this room and others, it was really exceptional. So I want to thank the district and EDAL for making that happen. It's just a wonderful, wonderful event. And with that,
yeah, so we want to turn it over to our Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, Mr. Bruce Clemenson, to talk about our BSN program.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity, and wanted to give everyone an update of things they've probably heard in the community about the Bachelor of Nursing program. So want to let you all know that thanks to Brigida, our accreditation liaison officer, we are in the throes, literally in the moment, writing our application to our accreditor to become a bachelor degree granting institution and to be authorized to offer a BSN as the first bachelor's degree that we would choose to offer. This is really designed around local career advancement in nursing. So it will require students to already have an associate degree in nursing and be practicing and licensed nurses. And this is what our healthcare system has asked for, that we don't have enough nurses able to move to the bachelor's degree level locally. They have to go somewhere else, which means time off, relocation, or online. This now makes bachelor attainment local, and there is plenty of demand to do this. We are doing this as part of a 6 community college consortium. So each college, the plan is, will be offering 2 courses within the bachelor's degree. So we are not doing all of the instruction. It is shared, and we will have shared systems amongst all 6 colleges to do this. So it's very unique. The Higher Education Coordinating Commission just authorized us to move forward towards accreditation. It was the first time they had dealt with a bachelor's degree consortium of colleges, and this will be the first time our accreditor is dealing with bachelor degree applicants in a consortium model, where not the entire program is housed at a single institution. So we're all learning through this process. Lastly, it is only a 4-term bachelor's, so students will be able to complete it in a year, and it is 100% online. And they will be able to take the courses in the order that they need to. They don't have to take all the courses each term. They can take their time, and they're not prerequisite or sequenced. So I can take this course now, even though I didn't take the other courses in the previous term. So it will be very adaptive to working nurses and should advance our healthcare system. It will allow, each consortium school will be allowed 7 slots in the bachelor cohort. And then if we have additional students and one of the consortium schools only has 5, those 2 slots would then go into a lottery to other schools that have additional eligible applicants. So it will be intended to be 7 students a year, and for the foreseeable future, it is expandable if the consortium has the resources to expand. So that's where that at. We are applying for accreditation. We don't know when that will happen, and once that happens, then we can actually begin talking about it in terms of a promotional and set some deadlines and timeframes for this to happen. Our goal is about a year from now that we'd be able to launch. Next. Aaron Bologna is online, and he may chime in at this. Aaron, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, good evening. Hopefully you can hear me. My name is Aaron Bologna. I'm the Director of Secondary Ed for Lincoln County School District. And first of all, I just want to say...
All right. Sorry, Aaron.
Can you hear me?
Aaron is the Director of Curriculum with the school district.
So Aaron is not here tonight, not necessarily by his choice. He has a senior in high school. It was her last basketball game. And when I realized that this weekend, I texted him and said, you need to be at her game, and we will make sure that we can take care of this part. So hopefully we get the sound figured out and Aaron can present. I don't know where he's sitting, in the locker room somewhere, so he could do this, but that's why he is not with us.
Can you hear? Try again, Aaron.
All right, can you hear me? I think the folks online can hear me, but maybe not in the room.
Aaron and I work together around our dual enrollment programs, which includes early college and dual credit. So we wanted to provide a little update and highlight of where those programs are currently at. So early college is a program where the high school student is attending classes at an OCCC campus, or our instructors are in the high school teaching their course to high school students in the high school facility. And we work through this. The students are not charged tuition for this. They get up to 6 terms of tuition-free coursework. And we have a pretty wide variety of courses that students are allowed to take. We have very little restriction on what they have access to, which is meaningful for them in terms of pursuing what they're thinking they want to do post-college. And all of these courses also then work towards their high school completion.
Aaron, I think you might try again too. You might have it.
There you go.
All right, my 3rd attempt. Can you hear me? All right, I'm seeing clapping, so that must mean that you can hear me. So I'll just introduce myself real quick. My name's Aaron Bologna. I'm the Director of Secondary Education for Lincoln County School District. And I want to thank both boards for allowing me to be over here in Philomath tonight to watch my daughter's last basketball game, like Miley said. So I appreciate you allowing me to be online and present that way.
So what do the numbers look like with early college? So last academic year, there were 84 juniors and seniors that took advantage of this opportunity. They earned over 1,100 credits of college coursework, and their average GPA in those college courses was a 3.4 GPA. And in today's tuition, that is a substantial savings of well over $138,000. So they advanced themselves along and took advantage of that.
I just saw, I was just listening to a school district that at their graduation ceremony, we have our scholarship nights in our district, but they present a check, like one of the big checks, to the families in the community for the cost savings that they have by dollars just like this. And I think that is something that we don't do enough of. We celebrate with the Cords jointly. We attend each other's celebrations, but I think this is huge for our community that we collaboratively and with the Oregon Coast Community College Foundation are able to provide this amount of savings. So something I want to look at us recognizing differently, and in addition to when we come into our spring year this year, over the course of the 2 years that they're saving.
I was able to, I had a meeting with our welding team last night, and it sounds like we may have 6 to 8 students this year completing at least 1, maybe 2 welding certificates through the early college program at Tech. So those students are taking their first step into a welding career and into the welding program at Oregon Coast. Dual credit is the other part of the dual enrollment program. And this is where the high school faculty teach a course that is essentially congruent with the college course. The instructor is qualified to teach, and the curriculum is validated to be similar in the outcomes of the college level course. The great part for the students is it's just extended, so it's not as a compressed time frame, and it works within their high school curriculum, and they're earning high school credit for it simultaneously. And those students, again, there's no charge to them for these credits, and they earn those as they move through the high school. And any high school student can enroll in this. So in the last year, there were 260 students in the district that registered for dual credit opportunities in the high schools. Almost 2,100 credits were earned. And again, a 3.4 average GPA amongst those credits for over $250,000 of tuition savings based in last year's tuition. So another significant number of students in the district earning a pretty sizable number of credits along the way for college. I wanted to highlight that students do get to participate in both of these programs, and that we do, not sure about this year yet, but there are high school graduates that are simultaneously going through the college commencement the same week with an associate's degree. We have had some students essentially complete all the prerequisites for the nursing program while in high school. Other students are able to combine them in a way that they've essentially completed an entire freshman year of college for all their general education requirements. And then we also have a number of students that are very likely to at least have that math and writing sequence completed so that they can immediately start the courses in their programs and not have to do those core gen eds for every program. So they're ready to pick and choose and move where they want to go. Just so you know, the different subjects in dual credit. It's a very nice, oh, Eric.
I thought this was my slide, but I think it's still you, Bruce. I apologize for interrupting.
There you go.
He said it is you. He said it.
Well, a very wide variety, and almost all of these areas have degree programs at the college. So they are feeding into degree programs, and they are core areas within the general education core for career technical and for transfer. Then Aaron's going to describe a little bit of some of the things we're working on for additional dual credit or early credit options.
Yeah, so we have some exciting proposals potentially for next year that we're looking into. So with environmental science and forest biology, we have a couple of different options for dual credit. We've been working with Natalie Schaefer at Yaconah, and we're looking to expand that course into a dual credit option. Last year, we had a number of kids take that course, and they didn't get any college credit for that, but they got high school credit. And this year, we unfortunately didn't have enough students, but we hope that the dual credit piece will encourage students to take that class. In addition, with the environmental science and forest biology, We're looking at our natural resources or forestry classes at Taft and at Walport, where they could potentially have some dual credit options there for courses that really already exist on our campuses. We'd have to do change a few things around, but looking into those. In addition, with the pre-apprenticeship construction trades program, something that Matt Batchelor had talked about when he was still around. Matt had thrown out the idea of using some of those modules within some of our existing CTE courses and doing it over time so that students can participate in the PACT program in a little bit of a non-traditional way. So be a little bit of a hybrid model, but allow our kids to get those certificates in that way. So that's another option that we're looking into. Spanish 101 through 103 in our larger high schools could be an option. And I know at least one of the high schools is really excited about that opportunity and has the right teachers to make that happen. So sorry, the lights keep going out in the room that I'm in. They're on a timer every 10 minutes. So welding, we're looking at expansion of the welding program into our other high schools. As you know, Taft has welding with an OCCC instructor. So we had 8 students at a time that can go through that program. It's a double period. And our hope is that we can expand welding into Walport, Toledo, and Newport. And Laura McClister is already in the process of checking into what our teachers need to do to be able to make that happen. So it's exciting working with the principals and Laura to see if we can expand what we're offering to our kids.
Just a promotional piece for our early college and dual credit that you can find in a lot of different places out in the schools and here on campus as we work with various high schools. This is Aaron.
Right. Yeah, so I get an opportunity to talk about the Rural Summit for Cradle to Career Success. I've had to do a little bit of learning about this, and I think I still have a lot to learn about what's to come with this project. But it is a project that we'll work with the community college, we'll work with the hospital. We're also working with the Confederated Tribes of Siletz to put this together. So if you don't mind going to the next slide, that'd be great. So just a little bit of background on how this all came about. Really, our schools have been a part of Gear Up, which is a federal grant. It's a 6 to 7 year grant that we get that follows cohorts of kids through high school, through middle school and high school, and it's really designed to promote college and career readiness, so the kids graduate ready to go out into the workforce or go out into post-secondary education as the primary goal. But it does provide some funding for us and provide some support to try to promote everybody being ready. And so that's where Gear Up, where this came from. And we were contacted by Gear Up in Oregon, along with 3 other districts about being a part of this Cradle to Career program. And so really we'll be one of those 4 teams. And we get to do a couple open-ended projects, and it's pretty vague to me still at this point. I met with Gear Up last week, and we talked through it, and it sounds like we have a lot of leeway in what we do, and our focus will probably be around the healthcare field. So we are really looking to go that direction. So there'll be 4 teams in the state of Oregon that get to do this, and we'll each do 2 projects apiece. And in the end, really part of the goal is to see how these 8 projects might be able to help students move, in the direction of that desired career field for them. So we'll know a lot more as we get into it, but that's the little bit of what I know about it right now. You can go to the next slide. All right, so the team, like I mentioned a little bit, we have the school district, Maya-Lise and myself from Lincoln County School District. From the community college, Ben Kaufman will be joining us. We have Jeff Sweet, who's an educational specialist at the Confederated Tribes of Siletz. And then we have Sam Jones joining us from Pacific Communities Hospital. All right, so the work, and I mentioned this a little bit, and like I said, it's a little vague, and I think we'll learn a lot more when we get to go to the summit in April. And Gear Up was really excited about making this happen for us. So we'll go and we'll attend the Rural Summit, which is in Anchorage, Alaska in April. And then we'll get to work on 2 projects together over the course of the year. We'll have some meetings bi-monthly, and those meetings will be inclusive of the other teams in Oregon to see what they're up to and to get ideas. And like I said, we'll have a health occupations focus. And really, in the end, with these teams, we'll get to share those projects, successes and challenges. And in the end, we hope we have 8 projects that can be emulated in other Gear Up schools or anywhere around the state. So the summit, there's not a lot of information if you go on their website, but when I was talking with Adrian at Gear Up, she told me this is like the best conference that she's been to in a very, very long time. And she goes to lots and lots of conferences, which says something. And really the concept is that in rural areas, like Lincoln County, we really can't rely on just educational institutions to move kids from that, cradle to career. It really takes a whole entire community. And that's what the summit is really about. It's a very leadership focused conference, and it has sessions that include everyone and how we work together to make that happen. So I'm excited to go and to learn how we can, move health occupations forward in Lincoln County and that cradle to career piece for us. So that we have a lot to learn, and I think it will be really fun, a really fun project together.
That's that part of the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron.
Okay,
So we're on to board goals and discussion.
Aaron, you want to talk about the MOU process?
Yeah, so annually, Bruce and I guess that's the 2 of us, we meet together to review the MOU between LCSD and the community college to make sure everything's the way that we want it to be. And last year, we had talked about some goals, if you will, or MOU goals, if you want to think of it that way. It's just aligning us in our work together. We know that boards each have your own individual goals, and this is just a way for us to make sure that the partnership that we have continues to grow and thrive to support our kids and in our community is really, I think, where this is born out of. And so we have some goals that were for our MOU that we would just like to present tonight, and they're open to discussion and whatever else. Bruce, do you have anything to add?
No, these, I think as Aaron and I looked at these, they're broad enough that there are a lot of the things we're currently doing that will clearly identify and fit within these broad 3 goals. At the same time, they're broad enough to allow some more creativity and other options as they come along to be created and attempted. So we'd like to share these with you and ask for you to consider these, and if they look agreeable, then we would be interested in having that become the guiding goals of the annual MOU that we signed between the 2 of us about the programs we're going to offer and how we exchange resources and utilize resources together to accomplish. That was just it. What are we trying to accomplish? We have a lot of great programs, and we need some guiding principles, and we thought these goals would provide that guidance. So, Aaron, you want to introduce recommendation 1?
Yeah, the first one's really for the college and career interests. I can just read it. I think that'd be better. So the school district's discussing career interests with students from an early age, which is, we really do that K-12 through the targeted college and career lessons and experiences, which include advancement via individual determination. It's our AVID program. The support system brings awareness to the varied pathways available and strategies for learning. So we really want to make sure that we are introducing kids to all the pathways that are available to them, and specifically between LCSD and the community college.
Our second recommendation is, and I'll just read, promotion of community colleges as a less expensive option than a 4-year institution and as a path to living wage jobs through career technical programs. Community colleges can offer more opportunities and personal guidance for students who can concentrate on learning workforce skills or completing the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree. It's really speaking to the breadth of our programs, and the students have choices to make in the community college, and that we need to work with the school district to make sure students are aware of all of those options and not any particular option, and they get to help guide their choice and choose which path they would like to follow, and that it's aligned with the needs of the community. You want it, Aaron?
I can give it, I can go. Yeah. So the third goal is that economic development is an important consideration in the establishment of academic pathways and opportunities for county residents and businesses. The board agrees to maintain this vision and a partnership as board members, district leaders, and educators to provide the county with education needed for a strong economy.
Those are our three recommended goals guiding our annual work plan together. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from anybody?
What I have to say, goal number 3, wahoo. With recommendation number 1, and I'm not sure if it seems a little passive, or I wanted to get some clarity. Is it basically saying the school district is going to take the lead in providing through the AVID program and other tools, just an understanding of career options for students? I mean, I'm just trying to see that as an actionable goal. Is that really what that says?
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's the, go ahead, Miley's.
Nope, you got it.
I was just going to say that is really the intent, is that, part of our role is to make sure that we have kids seeing these opportunities for both college and career. And there go my lights again. So anyway, yes, I think it is. And, these goals are certainly, we can adjust them to be more direct if we want to do that as well.
I just think I'm all in favor of a little bit more directed, clear goals, and it just seems a little passive, but I get what you're trying to do. I would say maybe just a little tweaking of the language.
Absolutely.
I get that, because it's important to have the awareness of the educational requirements and career opportunities that we have locally and regionally, that the Oregon Coast Community College is a valuable option to consider for getting family wage jobs and careers, and that economic development is one of those foundations that we can all grow on. And that also kind of implies continuing to listen to businesses to be able to sync education. So I think those are great, but that was my only comment there.
So is the high school apprenticeship program with businesses alive and well?
Aaron's ready for you.
Okay.
What was the question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
The high school internship program where the students are actually working with different businesses around the county.
The one that we had in place prior was the one with the port in Toledo. I met with the port last year. We made some attempts at getting some kids out there. We had a couple of kids, one specifically out of Wallport, that was very interested in it, and it didn't pan out. So it is currently not happening. And so I haven't been in contact with the port in the recent past, but it is definitely something that is still something we could revive, if you will, but it is not happening at the moment.
I think one of, Bud and I talked about this a little bit right before too. I think when we were able to get the most interest for that program out there is when, probably two things. One, when we had the least amount of offerings on our school campuses, where now there's more hands-on on our campuses, but we still need to get them on site looking at that. And so previously, before COVID, we would take pretty large field trips out to the port, and they would show all the different occupations that students could be exposed to in an internship out there. And I don't think I know I wasn't doing that at the end of my time as secondary director, so it wouldn't be process that you would have inherited to do it that way. So I think that that's something we need to revisit with that program itself, is how are we getting them on that site? The port staff do an amazing job of showing them all of the occupations that it's like its own community out there with all of the work, and we need to bring that back.
And maybe other businesses throughout
For
the
sure.
county too. I mean, real experience in a, is something you don't really get in a school as much as you do in practical training.
I would agree.
Marion, did you have a question?
I was just curious about early age. That seems a little vague to me. So you are basically working with K through 12. So does that mean we're starting in kindergarten?
Yeah.
You are. And then the sort of a twist on that is we have a lot of children in school district that come from households where there has not been any kind of college education. And so there's a certain amount of bureaucracy that goes into making sure that they are aware of all the deadlines and the applications and the support, applications for the support especially. So is that also incorporated in what we're seeing here?
Yeah, we'll have Erin give it a go, and then I can jump in on the elementary side.
Yeah. Well, I think the timing actually works out pretty well. We met with Oregon CIS this morning, which is a program that really focuses on the college and career readiness for kids. Is we have some legal obligations to do college and career lessons for our kids to make sure that they know what's out there for them. And so we were looking at a new platform. So yes, we start in kindergarten, and we got to see the kindergarten curriculum today. And, it also, it starts pretty simple about what they might want to be when they grow up and why. And, but it advances pretty quickly into middle school, where they're really looking at career options, college options, what kind of education comes with those. So it is definitely something that we are starting in the elementary school and moving through high school. It's part of their personal education plans that we're required to do from the state, just to make sure that we're giving them those offerings. I'm not sure I answered the whole question, Miley's.
Yeah, I can jump in just a little bit too. So we work on, in any of our adoptions, we look heavily at nonfiction at the elementary level, where they're exposed to a lot of careers just through the work that they're doing, and then helping our staff be intentional about calling out what some of those careers are for additional exposure. As they get older, the Gear Up grant has actually been in Lincoln County for 17 years. It started up at TAF 712, was the first school to get the Gear Up grant, and they had it for over 10 years. They had gotten an extension. It just now is at Wellport and at Toledo. And part of that is exposing schools that might not have an Aspire program to Aspire. I think Liz has been an Aspire mentor. Peter is currently an Aspire mentor. And it really helps partner adults who understand that process of scholarship application, college application, financial aid application with students who may or may not have that support at home. The Tolan kids had that support at home if their mom was home. But they were getting a lot of that support at school, because all of our secondary schools have graduation coaches, as well as counselors, as well as staff from Oregon Coast Community College, that regardless of which post-secondary path they're taking, we have adults who can help guide them through that process. And so when we talk about that first goal, this goal, I think that's one thing I would probably add to it, is the college's responsibility when it comes to the school district and career interest, because the college is doing that. And same when it talks about, I think it was goal 3, goal 2, the community college, the school district promoting it as a less expensive option. We're doing that even for students who are well-intentioned and on their way to a 4-year just through dual credit. But when the college has staff at our schools and helping with applications or college and career fairs, they're not, they want kids to go to Oregon Coast Community College. We would want that also, but they also are helping them with whatever they want to go to, and using their college network to help make sure that they're taking the right courses for where they might want to transfer. So I think our partnership really is truly around setting every Lincoln County student up for their pathway when they leave us, whether they stay and go to OCCC, or they go to OSU, or they go across the country. And I would venture to say not a lot of institutions have that level of partnership where they're really like, we need you to go where you want to go for the life that you want to live. Because we also need enrollment, right? Like I get that part too, so I don't know if that answered it, but.
Yeah, that definitely did, and you know, I did see a career technical day had a lot of representatives here as well,
Yeah.
so I know that that's a really good partnership.
Just one idea, and one of the things that, look, maybe once this MOU and the language gets solidified, one of the things that might be cool is have a version of that in our notebooks, our board notebooks that that Lori puts together, because to help us keep it front of mind that this is a partnership. Because I like that in all of our agendas, we have our board goals on so we're constantly reminded of that, and I think it would be good just to keep us reminded that we're partners, because I think it's pretty cool on this agenda that we have both the Lincoln County School District Board goals and our goals here. But I just want us to have that be a little bit more front and center. We don't have to have it be in our face, but I think it would be kind of cool being in that reference section in the beginning. Just a thought.
Okay, any other questions? We'll have Bruce and Aaron kind of take your thoughts, and then they're going to work on getting that MOU. Before I turn it back over to Chair Kilduff, I do want to recognize our chef, Kate Baker, who made dinner for us tonight, and her sous chef, Sarah, who helped with that. I just want you all to know that Chef Baker does all the food for us here. Everything that you have is homemade. She does not believe in anything that is pre-done. She makes it all from scratch. So I just want to recognize her and thank her for the work that she did tonight for us.
Thank you.
And the room she does it in is about as big as
It's a closet.
it's a closet. It's amazing.
I really appreciate all of you being here and joining together. It's really good to hear everybody's piece and that we're all working together for the kids. So unless I have anything further, I will adjourn the meeting. Oh, Peter.
I just want to put in a plug for your Pearls of Wisdom that your foundation board is putting on March 15th. So that generates a lot of scholarship support for students who come here. I think it's $90,000, $100,000 that goes out to students and scholarships, which is fantastic.
Thanks for reminding us.
I so appreciate you saying that. And again, that just shows the value of our partnership in the community. I meant what I said. You know, that this is a team, and this is about us doing what's best for serving students. And everyone in this room is about student success. And I thank you for saying that and extending that invitation on our behalf. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Sort of obligated to say something about it since Billy Joe is
He's wearing two hats.
president.
Well, you brought that up. I wasn't going to say that.
It's fair.
Okay, so we are adjourned.
They were here.
This one's mine.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, good job on the parking.
Turn down the video.
Yeah, that's still
Thanks, Miley.
a lot of
Very
person
nice.
there.
And so when I'm